to the first half of the 2020 graduation. Thank you, friends and family of graduates, for attending this unusual and special ceremony. This event is one for their history books, and I'm glad that we could share this moment with all of you. Congratulations to the class of 2020 for not only graduating, but also surviving. This ceremony is not just a celebration, but a memorial, an accomplishment, and a stepping stone. A memorial in honor of the baseball, softball, track and field seasons, as well as our sleep schedules and lunches in the June heat on Senior Hill. And let's be honest, some of us woke up to be marked present and then went back to bed because 3 hours of sleep isn't enough. It's an accomplishment for progressing through online classes to be here today, a stepping stone because we all have a long life and big dreams ahead of us. I used to look at you guys and see crazy seniors, breaking hammocks, state champions, best friends, a crowded student lounge, and a kid who hates Power Hour. Now I see doctors, lawyers, engineers, physical education teachers, Marines, and so much more. I can't wait to see where all of you go in the future. And for those of you who have no idea where you're going yet, that's okay. Welcome to the first step of figuring it out. People making these speeches usually include that they've known each other all their lives. As a Corinth resident, I'm proud to say that about 3 of you. You're a great 3 and a half, but I couldn't be more thankful for the people that I've met. I'm happy to have turned strangers into friends or even best friends. We've all come a long way from where we began as freshmen, and there's no group I would have rather spent my last 4 years with. And I'm really proud of all of you. And I know we're all going in very different directions, but whether we travel the world, go to college, find our dream career, or serve our country, we'll always be Thetford Academy's quarantine class of 2020. I love you guys for so many reasons. You make me laugh after breaking my leg 2 days before the state championship. You direct traffic with a drill. You never let me dance alone. You pot my pimples whenever, wherever. You visit me at summer camp. You're my ride to preseason soccer practices. You're my Duncan buddy. A couple of you have a laugh so contagious, the whole room will laugh just hearing it. You're a part of my soccer family. You take care of me when I faint. You make fun of me when I faint. You help me in class. You're the reason I'm not paying attention in class. I love you guys because you make me laugh no matter how bad I hurt or how mad I am. And even if you haven't done that for me, I know you're doing that for someone else. I've learned a lot from you. Glue tastes gross. Drive slowly out of the parking lot. If you show up late to class but with coffee, you're still late. A McDonald's bench is not for sleeping. Folding tables break easily. Hammocks break easily. Legs break easily. Wrists break easily. Cars break easily, and you get the point. Keep on breaking things and living wild because you'll have more stories to tell. I can't wait to hear about the next chapter of your adventures at our reunion. So go out there and be the best versions of yourself, make the world a little brighter, and make a difference. But always remember where you came from and those who helped shape you into who you are. Congratulations, seniors, you did it. You graduated.
Wow, we finally made it. This year seemed to be going by pretty fast until this pandemic slowed us to a stop. I thought I was going to have trouble saying goodbye to this school, even before we couldn't go to school for the last 60 or so days. I remember the last few days going into the pandemic, and that we had no idea they were going to be our final days at TA. That last day, Tuesday, March 17th, we looked at each other and realized this might be our last day, but we expected to be able to graduate and maybe get one more sports season in. It was a tough day for me, and having spent as much time, if not more, at this school as others, I did not know how to say goodbye. During the first few days of quarantine, I was angry. I kept thinking, why am I not allowed to see my classmates who I had seen days before, especially when this disease wouldn't be worse than a cold for me? I knew I was doing my part to protect my neighbors and family, but I was only thinking about what this virus was costing me. At some point, I read the story of Job. Now, I know this is about to get a bit religious, but we had a celebration for Valentine's Day, so I think this is okay. Job was a wealthy man who had everything taken away from him to test his faith. After Job had suffered and endured, he was rewarded by God. Or that's how the story goes. I don't know if the details are actually true, And in American society during the 21st century, we can't trust everything in the Bible. I think what happened to Job was not something that was given. It was something that he had to take, even if God gave him the opportunity to. Like Job, we have been given an opportunity to rise up over this and other challenges in our lives. I think we all learned a few months early that life is not going to be kind to us, but we can take this anger we have and use it to our advantage. Instead of feeling sorry for ourselves, TA seniors committed to college, helped to set up food banks for those struggling more than us, finished high school, and tried to stay sane during these last 3 months. In the future, I'd almost be willing to bet that the class of 2020 is going to be more successful than most other classes, for the reason that we weren't given the chance to finish our senior year the right way. I guess the question is, what are we going to do after this? Our time will come at some point, and we'll be given the chance to show the world what they missed.
Hello, everybody. I don't know why I volunteered to give a speech. The speeches are always about reflection, something that, if you know me, you know I hate. But I guess the reason I chose to give a speech is because I have spent 13 years of my life growing up with all of you. However, in a few short months, we will all be starting new chapters. It has been wonderful to be your classmates for the past 13 years, 6 years, 4 years, or however long you have been at Thetford. I have seen you all grow, not only in height, but also as you have faced and overcome challenges, individually and collectively. I have so many good memories from this phase in my life, thanks to all of you. I mean, I don't have many other years to have memories from, but that's beside the point. We met the first half of our class in kindergarten. I remember how we made time capsules not to open until 6th grade. In 1st grade, our class worked to research all aspects of life in India and Japan. In 2nd grade, we went to the wetlands every week, exploring nature and trying not to fall into the water. In 3rd grade, we made puppets based off of fables. In 4th grade, we all got in trouble for being too noisy. In 5th grade, we were able to perform in the musical for the first time. In 6th grade, we spent a day in Boston. Then, we had our first transition, as we moved up to Thetford Academy. In 7th grade, we went as a class to Washington, D.C., visiting landmarks in our nation's capital and spending a week in each other's company. Our poor teachers. In 8th grade, we built Rube Goldberg machines in science, some working much better than others. After 8th grade, we made another transition. Same school, but this time many new faces. As freshmen, we struggled through having mechanical babies. As sophomores, we participated in the anthology reading for English. As juniors, we helped celebrate the end of high school for last year's seniors. And this year, we have celebrated senior nights for sports. We have had a party on Founders Day prep. We have developed senioritis, and finally, we have made it to our graduation. Growing up in this school, this community, I have always felt supported. High school is full of struggles, no matter who you are, but here at Thetford, there are so many people who want you to succeed. Our senior spring has certainly not been typical. In March, as everything was being rapidly shut down, I did not register that we would never again walk the halls of Thetford Academy as students. I've missed the daily interactions of the school day, from having academic discussions in the classroom, to eating lunch with friends in the student lounge, to randomly encountering people across campus. At home, nobody has decided at lunch to stand on the trash can and scare people walking by. I have seen so much from this class. There are the endless projects we have created. There are the sports and academic achievements we have celebrated together. There has been music and art shown through Founders Day, concerts, and even now for graduation. And there has been unconditional support for each other. We have each become individuals, but we have also grown as a team. And this is a team I am thankful to have been a part of. Having people to support us, from teachers to parents to classmates to many others, has been integral to the success of all of us. Support can be powerful, as we have learned from our time at Thetford Academy, in our history classes, and in witnessing recent demonstrations against police brutality. Like those who are protesting now, we must use our voices and what privileges we have to speak up and make meaningful change in the world. Next year holds uncertainty, not only in the face of coronavirus, but we will also all be off on new adventures, away from peers we have had since kindergarten. Next year, for the first time, Lily and I will be attending school in completely different parts of the country. Despite this, our class will be forever connected through Thetford Academy, and as we all go off into the world and achieve great things, Thetford Academy will be a part of us. And with this, I hope you keep in mind one particular value of Thetford Academies: caring. Look out for others, and we can make this world more just and more interesting. Congratulations, class of 2020.
What an incredible opportunity an invisible virus gave to us. What an incredible opportunity to improve our lives. I think that crises always have this clear aspect of danger, which makes it harder to see the opportunity. But if you think about it, you are at your best, at the best time to change your life and improve it for the better. Today, we find ourselves in the beautiful Green Mountains of Vermont. And right now, I am at the place where we all started a special cycle of our lives: high school. We are fortunate to have to pause our normal rhythms of life in a place with so much nature, and it has been a luxury to be able to spend a quarantine in rural Vermont. Well, this is home. Home is this that surrounds us. Sometimes I think they told us to stay home because we live in concrete jungles where we get into boxes and it is easier for us to get contaminated. But when you return to the basics, you notice that there is health here. And that's what I want to tell you. I think I see some very good things about this crisis that is already upon us. First off, this sudden pause to our busy lives has made people realize that we have a body that goes with us everywhere, and many of us haven't paid enough attention to it. Yet now in the crisis, many have resumed their exercise routines and shared them on social media. It has been very special to see that everyone is sharing their way of recovering their health and their physique. With the help of technology and our creativity, we have all invented our personalized exercise routines. For the first time, there is no excuse. You cannot say that you have other things to do. Your body is there, waiting for you to recover it. What a wonderful opportunity that you can stop and think about this physical body that is a part of you, and that will hopefully be with you for many more years. The second advantage of this crisis is that it gave people time to question their minds and ways of living. What is the use of knowing that we are in the midst of an economic recession, that millions of companies have had to close, or that a large percentage of our society has become unemployed? What is the use of complaining about this pandemic that ended our last semester of high school, that took away a prom, a traditional graduation, and that took us away from our closest friends and the community we had managed to form? This pandemic has given us time to reflect on who we have become, how satisfied we feel with where we are at in life, what we want to change about our habits, and how we want to move forward once things go back to normality. This crisis has also been useful for us to think about our feelings for the first times. How are you? What are you thinking about? How do you feel with everything going on? Your quality of life is directly proportional to what you think, and for the first time, we have had time to monitor our emotions. In the end, that's what they are there for. Life has put us in total service of our emotions, and it has forced us to go back to participating in the things that make us feel happy. This brings me to the third component, relationships. For the first time, we cannot use work or school as an excuse. People are interacting, even if it is at a virtual level. We are recovering our essence, the reasons why we exist, the loving connections, by talking to the people we love, even if it's from afar. This virus brought to us a great opportunity to come together with our loved ones, to take part in projects we are most passionate about, and to have fun with the simple. Again, we return to the basics, whether it's playing Jenga, or watching a series with your family, or reading, or cooking, or exercising. We have been able to structure our times in the ways that we want. Virtual interaction websites went viral in 1 week. How fascinating, and congratulations to these businesses, because it is through examples like this one that you realize that every crisis generates opportunity for someone else. Something wonderful about this pandemic is that people have had to go back to the basics. The virus cleared our agenda and our calendars. Now we can start prioritizing. Now we can schedule our own time and not let time control us. I find it special that we can survive this constant chaos that overturns us because we have control, now more than ever, of how we choose to live our lives. For now, your agenda is yours, and you can decide what you are going to put in that agenda. The day we return to normality, we can decide how we want to continue with our lives. We will be able to decide which habits we no longer want to repeat, which ones we want to keep, who we want to be with, and how we want to have an impact on the society in which we live. It is one of the few times that we have been able to stop making excuses and take control of our time. This brings me to the final components, money and jobs. In the matter of money, of course we have to consume again. If we want businesses to start up again, we have to consume. It is time for us to unite and to understand that people who are better off have experience in this game that we are a part of and know how to use it. If you don't like how the system works, that is fine. But do not hate the player because he only did what the system allows him to do. What are you doing working for money when money is part of a system that if it stops, you don't even know how to obtain it? Go back to the basics. Go back to nature. Go back to your true home. Dedicate yourself to what you really know and give your essence, and you will see the fullness and stability that you can achieve in your life. Stop buying stupid things. Buy the essentials and buy what you really love. Nothing in the middle. Don't buy because of social reputation or for the sake of buying. This virus connected us with ourselves and our desires again. We live disconnected, so be thankful for the virus that came to connect us. Be grateful to this crisis for taking away everything that was not useful to leave you with the essentials. Learn to be thankful with unexpected circumstances. It is important to stop complaining and to have a positive attitude in life. Realize this crisis was imminent and was going to happen, whether it was with a virus or a stock market crash. Thank the universe that pointless consumption and rapacious capitalism fell. It is time that we move towards social capitalism, real capitalism, where the exchange of capital is because it contributes value or because one loves what you deliver. Either it is incredible or it is necessary, but nothing in between. Here is the best I can give you, or here is something basic that we need. Denying and hating this adverse situation won't do you any good. Better, let's take advantage of this crisis to realize that the way we have managed our lives is perhaps no longer sustainable. Live with pure gratitude, and I hope that with this crisis, you will be able to connect with Mother Nature, with your emotional, physical, and mental self, and with love. Class of 2020, live your lives with a positive attitude, with actions over intentions, and most importantly, follow your passions and your desires. I am certain all of us are more than prepared for whatever life may bring. Thank you, and congratulations.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. Well, it's something unpredictable. In the end, it's right. Hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind. Hang 'em on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. Well, it's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. Hope you had the time of your life. Well, it's something unpredictable. In the end, it's right. Hope you had the time of your life. Well, it's something unpredictable. But in the end, it's right. Hope you had the time of your life.
"290 days. Probably a peculiar way to start off the speech, but it has meaning. 290 days was written in bold, black, dry erase marker in the corner of my whiteboard at home, boxed off and labeled with days until I graduate. Yes, that's right. On the first day of this school year, I already had something to let me know how long it would be before the last day came along. At first it was a joke, no feeling of senioritis. I just wanted to keep it there as a reminder. The next day I woke up and changed it to 289. The way I've seen it, senior year marks the lasts of the firsts and the firsts of the lasts, especially at TA where we value our school traditions. Something that struck me this year was the last of 6 mountain days that I took part in. Granted, the hike up Moosilauke had its rough patches, but it was all worth it in the end. Unless you didn't wear enough layers to fend off the howling, cold wind at the top. The whiteboard read 273 days after that hike. Coming into this school year, I knew it wouldn't be easy. Above all, the most difficult challenge was taking on the role of emperor of the school's very own Power Hour basketball club. In all seriousness, though, my biggest challenge coming into the year was taking up cross-country running. I had no experience with competitive running and, despite the fact we came second at states by one lousy point, there are memories I will cherish forever. Holding in the urge to relieve myself on a 4-hour bus ride to Connecticut being the most valuable one. I wouldn't have gotten through it without my teammates and coaches, and some motivation from Matt Damon, who said, "If you work at something, you get better at it." After cross country and fall sports ended, we, as a class, faced the next challenge right after them, applying for a November 1st early action college deadline. The whiteboard read 224 days on that day, where I submitted 2 of my 7 applications to colleges. Senior year not only brought more opportunity, but more community. Being seniors, you're respectfully entitled to Senior Hill, and allowed a revolution to take over the student lounge. I am grateful for both spots as they helped me find a tight-knit sense of community in our grade. The ideas that came from talks every day at lunch, the laughs shared, and the praises and complaints all made Power Hour more exciting. Next year I will miss our joyous attitudes and boisterous behaviors. 2020 came rolling around the bend with 163 days on the whiteboard, and we all had high hopes for the new year. We had our second to last set of finals and coasted into the new semester, depleted of energy. Senior year requires you to dip your toes into different waters and, after 5.5 years of hearing dreadful comments about Mr. Defner's senior English class, I came to find that it wasn't that bad. We got another dosage of a first last on February 11th, where Founders Day was all out of sorts, not being on its traditional first Friday of the month. Despite the cold and snow setting back our relentless work, we got points where we needed them and beat the winless class of 2021, triumphantly ending our Founders Day class record at 5 wins and 1 pesky loss. The whiteboard read 122 days. With the winter season coming to a close, our class's athletic ability once again proved itself to be the best, garnering 3 more state championships and 1 runner-up. I am grateful to have been a part of the state champion boys indoor track team. Just because I'm tall doesn't mean I play basketball, and to have watched the other 3 earn their rightful places on the podium. I've never been good with numbers, and thankfully I only have to take 1 math class in college, but I think that this means in total, our class won 12 state titles and came runner-up 8 times. As Phil Swift would say, that's a lot of damage. Then, this new topic was making all the headlines. Coronavirus. Like many other high schoolers around the country, we made our utmost attempt to recognize it by joking about it. If someone was out sick, we assumed that they had corona. While the virus spread, so did senioritis. Committing to college became the new challenge. But then, tragedy struck. On March 17th, we had our last day of school for what we thought would be only a 3-week dismissal. At first thought, I was a bit content about how I wouldn't have to wake up so early. But then, after 3 days of remote learning and not being able to see my friends, things got ugly. And then, on March 26th, with 78 days left on the whiteboard, we found out that we wouldn't be going back to high school in person. For good. The thoughts of not getting a graduation, track season, or senior trip all raced through my head. I thought about how long it would be before I saw my friends again. I thought about how I could manage myself. I thought about no more basketball club. I thought about the halls and classrooms at the school, unoccupied and depressed. We trudged through the adversity, though. We followed the governor's directives in this so-called coronacation. We followed along with online schooling and accepted our spots at the colleges we got into, with me choosing the University of Southern Maine. Screens became everything, April flew by, and the number on the whiteboard became more shallow each day. And so here I am, reading this pre-recorded speech to you. The last day countdown has been replaced with one that says how long I have until I start college, which is 80 days. I give thanks to many people who have come along with us on this unpredictable journey and on our final steps into adulthood. I give thanks to my wonderful teachers this semester who plagued themselves with as much screen time as a millennial does so that they could teach, to faculty for making some kind of graduation possible, and to my family for putting up with me. Like many, I will miss the opportunities here and the environment they come from. I will miss the teachers and staff who always made class fun and got off topics that we didn't learn as much a certain day. And though I have confidently had days until I graduate written on my whiteboard for 290 days, it feels scary to think that time went by that fast. Our successes, pitfalls, playful attitudes, and determined mindsets have all culminated this year, and now we're ready to blossom into the real world. Let us hold on to the memories we made across the years. Whether you came from somewhere else to get your high school education here, or were in Thetford for the whole ride since kindergarten with either Mrs. Toth or Miss Betty, our class has the drive to keep going, and I know that wherever we go, our creativity will flourish. And if you're unsure about your future, know that Yogi Berra once said, "If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else." Though our year turned upside down 3 months ago, we still persevered. We are the class of 2020, the most durable seniors of all. And someday, I hope to see the ideas we sparked at lunch or during class time come true. And when, not if, they do, it just proves as to why I think our class, the 201st production from this little school on the hill, is the best. Thank you, TA.
We will now present several awards that we refer to as the Faculty Awards. These are our highest honors for graduating seniors. Students were nominated by their teachers for the award and confirmed by a vote of the full faculty. Beginning with the Frederick G. Torrey Headmaster's Scholarship and Award. This award was established by the TA trustees in 1989 in honor of Frederick G. Torrey, headmaster of Thetford Academy from 1977 to 1989. Fred Torrey was a friend, a teacher, and a respected leader of our community. The Headmaster's Award is given annually to a senior whose intelligence, wit, unfailing goodwill, concern for others, and wholehearted involvement in the life of the school has enriched us all. This year's recipient is Eamon Thomas Defner. I now welcome Dr. Deb Sanders-Dame, who will announce the rest of the faculty awards.
The Abby Bond Award honors a student who has outstanding determination and dedication to the Academy. This year's recipient is Alexis Rose Gates. The American Legion School Award is given annually by vote of the faculty for 2 students who have demonstrated those high qualities of honor, courage, scholarship, leadership, and service which are necessary for the preservation and protection of the fundamental institution of our government and advancement of society. This year's recipients are Frank David Loveland, Lillian Sims Milligan McVeigh. The Etta Wilson Award is presented annually to students who have shown great cooperation, loyalty, and school spirit. This year's recipients are Grace Louise Davis, Catherine Cameron Milligan McVeigh, John Wayne Moore, Tyler Allen Wojcik. The Robert Bacon Bootstrap Award was established by the faculty in 1986 to honor Robert Bacon and the qualities he encouraged in his students by precept and example during his 40 years as a teacher at the Academy. Presented annually to members of the senior class who, while at the Academy, had achieved noteworthy personal growth through determination, perseverance, and courage. This year's recipients are Joseph Henry Dunn, Timothy Scott Gray, John James Longshaw, Destiny Faith Miller, Elena Jane Scruggs, Jahira Job Thurber. The Robert Brinkerhoff Award recognizes the 25 years of service Mr. Brinkerhoff devoted to the Academy, upholding the school's fundamental principles of excellence, commitment, cooperation, respect for diversity, and caring. The award goes to students who lived by those principles without expecting recognition or reward, simply because it's the right thing to do. This year's recipients are Bethany Madison Maxfield, Ryan Thomas Pepe. The Warren Cleveland Kendall and Samuel Henry Stevens Achievement Award and Scholarship. There is an elegant simplicity in the citation for the Kendall Stevens Award. It is given for outstanding achievement in school and community. This year's recipient is Emily Ryan Tragey. Class of 2020, you are a part of history. This experience we're having right now of addressing one another in a pre-recorded video format to mark a milestone as important as your high school graduation is itself an artifact that future generations will use to make sense of 2020. The screenshot Mr. Defner recently shared with me of the senior English class, 20 faces in a 5x4 grid, each student in a box with a backdrop of a room in their own home, Tyler and Frank in opposite corners of the grid, Hannah and Morgan in the center squares, Lily and Casey sitting side by side in one box sharing a laptop, and other familiar student faces looking out from the rest of the squares. This is the type of artifact you will point to in the future to explain what school looked like in the spring of 2020, the year you were a senior at Thetford Academy. It is not always of our choosing to become part of history, especially when we are young. To live through historical events, to become actors in and survivors of those moments in time, is not an easy experience. It requires resilience, adaptability, perseverance, and patience, all of which you have shown this semester. It requires grace in the face of an unexpected reality and an uncertain future. This COVID-19 spring, living through a global pandemic, the disruption of schools and all aspects of life as we know it, the undoing of traditions, the canceling of events, I know you welcomed none of it. But it is now part of your story, the story of our country and the world, the story of TA, and living through it as a senior in high school and stepping out into the world at this moment in time makes you a part of history. I conclude with a quote by Omar Khayyam, a mathematician, philosopher, and poet, who, like you, lived through the first century of a new millennium, 1,000 years ago today. Be happy for this moment is your life. On behalf of the Thetford Academy Board of Trustees and the TA faculty, I officially confer diplomas on the class of 2020. Student names to be read by Dean of Students, Siobhan Lopez. I congratulate each of you. We look forward to seeing you and your loved ones tomorrow to receive your diploma and celebrate this moment again in person on the Thetford Academy campus.
The Thetford Academy Class of 2020. Leah Taylor Abernethy. Michael Galen Adams Lindbergh. Zachary Richard Beeland. Hannah Joy Blankenship. Morgan Elizabeth Busby, Luis Diablo Calles, Shane Robert Chafee, Arwen Grace Young Clayton, Brittany Carol Clifford, Hannah Elizabeth Clough, Liam Michael Curtis, Thomas Abbott Dara, Grace Louise Davis, Eamon Thomas Defner, Elizabeth Louise Dixon, Timothy James Duty, Joseph Henry Dunn, Alex Philip Emerson, Jacob Ross Finkelstein, Alexis Rose Gates, Morgan Elizabeth Gaffney, Timothy Scott Gray, Jade Ellen Jameson, Lily Mae Kapsala, Zeki Kwang, Dylan Michael Cuban, Hunter Orion Lefevre, Vincent Ignacio Levy, Olivia Page Limlaw, John James Longshaw, Frank David Loveland, Catherine Cameron Milligan McVeigh, Lillian Sims Milligan McVeigh, Bethany Madison Maxfield, Destiny Faith Miller, Aidan Waterbury Moore, John Wayne Moore, Grace Helene Novotny, Nathaniel James O'Donnell, Graham Lewis Montague Okai, Ryan Thomas Pepe, Christopher Jason Phelps, Stephen Thomas Prunk, Louisa Sharon Pyle, Alexander Paul Robinson, Garrett William Schaefer, Elena Jane Scruggs, Gavin Slider, Jordan Kendall Smith, Aidan Christopher Salsa, Colleen Renee Swayze, Emma Colleen Thorburn, Jahira Job Thurber, Emily Ryan Tragey, Ellen Agnes Baraka, Lena Catherine Warner, Sophia Antoinette Williams, Tyler Allen Wojcik, Jason Michael Wolstenholme, Lun Shi,